let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 50, the 10 to 5. A touchdown with Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Left to Dwight. Beavers are he's gone. Touchdown. Tavon Austin.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Gold and Blue football.
They want to have a 7-on-7 drill. We want to make it a fist fight. Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football.
From the heart, screaming, it's Mountaineer pride. Leave no doubt tonight, no doubt. They shouldn't have played the old Gold and Blue.
West Virginia is a special place. People are the state that have great pride in this WV logo.
Ain't gonna stop it, the Gold and Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into another live stream here on the Country Roads webcast channel. October 11th edition here ahead of the West Virginia and Houston game. Of course, you've heard our predictions. Now this is your chance to drop your prediction for the game down in the chat below, and any other questions, comments, concerns you have there. Our chance to chat with you and get your thoughts ahead of this week's WVU football game. Of course, coming off of bye week, we're real excited for this one for a lot of different reasons. And of course, joining me here tonight, our co-host here on the Country Roads webcast channel. What's going on tonight, Steven?
Oh, not a whole lot. What's going on, man?
You know, same old same, just chilling. Long work day earlier, relaxing a little bit tonight. Don't have to open in the morning, so that's nice. Get a little nice mid-shift tomorrow. I don't get too many of those.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people always, glamorize the morning shift. And I get that because it's nice to be able to get your shift over with and get home and have your evening free. It's nice to be able to have your mornings free, though, sometimes.
True that, man. I like to mix it up. I like a little bit of both. I like my closing shifts, like my opening shifts. Get a little bit of both worlds, I guess.
Yeah, I like to mix it up, right?
Yeah, for sure. But see, we got some people in here already. Timothy, John, appreciate y'all being in here. Anyone else that's in here, feel free to drop your thoughts there in the chat. And of course, drop those score predictions down below. Hopefully you've heard mine and Steven's. We'll let you check out our latest podcast episode to find out our exact score, but we both do have a West Virginia win. We will give that away at least. Timothy Green says, let's go Mountaineers beat Houston. He's got it 27-17 West Virginia win. I like that. 17 seems to be a common theme.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's pretty close to what we got. I got 30-17.
Yep. 17's close. 17's I think Brad had 17 as well. He had a 42 or something like that, though.
Yeah. You know what that means.
17
is our magic number. Just got to beat that.
That's right. Tim Green said he would like to see some big plays from our tight end. I think that's a good call as well. I think, last week, or not last week, I guess, week before with the bye week or whatever. But I remember TCU preview, you talking about it could be a big week for Cole Taylor. Of course, we didn't know leading up to that he hadn't practiced all week. So he was on, a snap count, didn't play a ton. But except for on West Virginia's crucial drives, he still made plays even then, being injured, not practicing all week. So, I think that we could be in for a game where we see him do some things. Dana's defenses, when we used to, when he was here at West Virginia, they struggled to cover tight ends at times. So it could be something West Virginia uses. And from all reports that I've heard this week, Chad Scott, Neil Brown, et cetera, the passing games had their best week of practice they've had, since the season started. So hopefully maybe we'll see some Cole Taylor making some plays, Stephen.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. And, especially, like we was talking about the other day with the line, with having so many question marks right now, especially on that one side, we're probably going to be forced to go to the passing game a little bit more than what we are used to. So I think Cole Taylor is probably going to be a big chunk of that. So you're probably right.
Yeah, I think so. He's going to Passing game, we've been talking about needing to come along. This is a good game where it has an opportunity to do so. We talked about it maybe being a get right game against the Houston defense that's been struggling. So hopefully, but I do like what you mentioned there in regards to the offensive line because, we mentioned in the preview that's something to keep an eye on. We know Thomas Remick's out at the left guard spot, Wyatt Milam status up in there at the left tackle spot. And I'm thinking, I don't have any insight into this, I'm just speculating, but I think that if Wyatt Milam doesn't go, I would not be surprised at all to see Doug Nestor switch over to left tackle to protect, Garrett Green's blind side and then play Nick Malone at right tackle. I think that's probably what they do.
Well, that's probably got to be the best option for you just to even it out because you can't, with Wyatt and Tomas being on the same side, them both going down.
Yeah.
I mean, that leaves it so unbalanced. It's kind of hard to, to do anything with. So,
yeah, and it's not that they don't trust Nick Malone. It's just that, Doug Nestor is really good, and you want to get your best tackle that you have left protecting the blind side, I think.
Right, yeah. And you really, just for, like I said, balance purpose issues, you really just want to have, if you're going to run the ball effectively, that's really what you want along your line, right?
Oh, yeah. And West Virginia's left side's been awesome on their outside run plays this season. So I'm really got my fingers crossed that, Wyatt Milam's able to go, but, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel confident. Their defensive line hasn't really shown that much promise this year.
True.
So if it's a game that, we can, I don't know. I'm not saying we should look past them at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying, if it's a game where we needed this to happen, or if this was going to happen, I'm glad it's this game.
True. You got a good point there. Houston's run defense.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
As bad as they've been, their defensive line hasn't been all that bad.
Yeah. True. Good point. So, if so, when he does get that extra week, Wyatt Milam should be back and potentially maybe even Remick as well. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but Neil Brown said he definitely didn't think it was season ending or, even long term. So potentially you could get both those guys back, in a short amount of time, at least, I guess. John Kelly, appreciate you, man. He says, let's go Mountaineers here. Also shouts out Tim in the chat, of course. Tim shouts out Steven as well.
What's going on, my man?
Tim's always loyal to tune in and chime in. Always appreciate you,
yes,
Timothy.
Sir. I always appreciate you.
Valley Independent Baptist Church throwing in their score prediction 41-23 West Virginia. They're thinking along the lines of Brad was, in the preview show pretty much.
They must know some inside information about those wide receivers having a good week of practice. They might come out there and show us all what they got.
I've seen a few people predicting our offense to, have a big game, score, 30 or 40. So it's it could happen.
It could happen. I've been saying we're due because I don't know. I feel like we have a pretty good run game. It's just we have to get the receivers to catch the ball. I mean, if we can get that to happen, I think we've got at least one more touchdown per game.
Yeah, I think so too. The plays have been there. You can think of a couple plays that should have been touchdowns in about every game. So for sure. I mean, last game I'm thinking about, Rodney Gallagher on that out and up wide open, and they just missed the throw a little bit. EJ Horton inches off on a deep ball from Nico a couple games before. Just little plays like that. They're going to start hitting those, sooner or later.
Yeah. Which, and likewise on the defensive side of the ball too, there's a lot left on the table in terms of turnovers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dropped interceptions.
Obviously, just in the TCU game, and that's not the only time that's happened. We've had dropped interceptions in a few games this year.
I'm about to say, I can think back to what Penn State. We had a couple even.
Yeah, if we can learn to just hold on to the ball, I'll tell you what, we'll start turning some heads, and not just the conference, but the country. I'll tell you,
going to be a team to be reckoned with if those things start lining up to go as well. Speaking of the wide receivers, Eric Flowers chimed in with a little bit of talk about them. Appreciate you tuning in and chiming in as always, Eric. He's predicting a 2-touchdown win. I like that. I think that's a good prediction. West Virginia's got a chance to do that for sure. Wide receivers break out when Houston stacks the box. Interesting. Houston definitely, I think that they're going to try and sell out to stop the run, as most teams have against West Virginia. So this could be the game where the wide receivers do break out, because that's what you've heard, throughout this week, is that they want to get some of the guys they feel like can make more plays, more touches, being Jaheim White, Rodney Gallagher, EJ Horton. I think you're going to see some of those guys, out there in space trying to make plays. And, let's not forget Hudson Clement's been open a lot throughout the season. He can make plays too. So, and I think we haven't really seen Traylon Ray fully healthy yet, or Devin Carter healthy since Penn State. So after this bye week, I'm hoping we'll get to see our wide receiving core kind of the most healthy we've seen it, and maybe, get to see a little bit of the potential this week.
Yeah, that's actually, surprisingly enough, something that I really haven't thought about in terms of our receiving core. That this bye week might really help them get in shape too.
Yeah.
Because they really, they kind of got the short end of the stick on that Penn State matchup, because that secondary for them was really, really good. You know what I mean? They got beat up in that game. So I don't think that they ever really got to recover fully from that game. So, it might have been really beneficial for that unit.
I think for our skill players in general, I think it was. I mean, we talked about it coming at a good time for guys like Aubrey Burks, who, is going to be a game time decision, and Wyatt Milam, who is as well. We were hoping maybe Tomas, but of course he's out. But, look at the skill positions. You're going to get, Garrett and Nico both fully healthy at the same time since early in the season. Probably going to get CJ the closest to 100% he's been since beginning of the season. And then, the wide receivers we just mentioned. So, people that are predicting, West Virginia have an offensive breakout in this game, I can kind of see why. I'm just a little bit leery of it because of the left side of that offensive line, how that's going to look, and, how that ends up shaping up. But we'll see. Because skill position-wise, I think we're going to be healthy.
And one thing that you mentioned, though, I wanted to talk about is the Aubrey Burks being a game-time decision. I don't know, man. I'm more along the lines of I understand the kid wants to go. Yeah, I think Coach Brown needs to make a good decision and at least set him out this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even
I don't know.
You just want to make sure. You really, I don't know, man. I feel like we're all right moving Malachi over, and I don't know. I just don't feel like we're hurting.
Yeah, between him and Marcus, I think we'd be all right, especially because it seems like they've been trying to work spells in on some snaps at corner too. So, maybe. But I'm just a little worried because of who we're playing. When you look at the wide receiver room of Houston, I think this is the best wide receiver core we faced yet, and maybe the best we'll face all season. So I'm worried about it without, the guy that's been kind of the leader on the back end, at least in the safety room with Aubrey. Of course, you'll still have him there on the sidelines regardless. Corners have played good, Beanie and Malachi. So I worry about if you don't have Aubrey switching that up too. If you do try and slide Malachi back to safety, bringing in a new, spells there at corner. Not that I don't think he can do it, but just chemistry wise, don't want to throw that off too much. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I understand where you're coming from too, because I think it's certainly traumatic, and it's something that we've talked about before, that could be something that it could affect his play without him realizing that it's affecting his play, because it's like a subconscious type thing,
Yeah. I just, that, and plus you really want to just make sure that he can really go 100%. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those types of deals are different.
Yeah, it's a serious thing for sure. You want to be certain, definitely. Yeah. And I guess I'm sure they got the protocols in place and everything, and but as of, Neil Brown's radio show or whatever, sounded like still up in the air, still too early to tell. So we'll see on him. We'll see on Wyatt when it comes to game time tomorrow. Less than 24 hours now, so getting close. We'll find out.
We got 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock tomorrow?
7 Eastern. Yeah, 6 o'clock if you're looking at the Big 12 schedule release, of course. But
that's all they give you. I'm not trying to. My bad. I'm not trying to promote.
Yeah, we ain't got no sponsorship. We got no sponsorship. That's all. I feel it. Brandon Calfee, appreciate you, man, tuning in, chiming in. 31-14 West Virginia. I like it. I like the optimism so far in the chat. Everybody thinks we're going to win handedly, and I appreciate it. As did, Steven and Brad were in that camp as well. I'm a little bit more nervous, but I think we're going to win.
Jordan, however, does not believe in our defense, guys.
No, it's not that I don't believe in the defense. It's just, I don't know, man. You got a Houston team with their backs against the wall. They need a win, or else they're going to start bad, and it's going to look like they may not even make a bowl game. Home Thursday night game, blackout. Of course, the storylines with Dana. He can say what he wants, but I know he's going to pull out all the stops and try and win this. And I just know he can find, those little matchups and scheme up some crazy things that really, can exploit an area. Just think of the things that he's done, back at West Virginia, whether it was moving to Tavon Austin to running back or, you name it, just, anything crazy. Who knows what he's going to come out with game plan wise in this game, but I'm fully expecting him to design something to where Sam Brown's getting loose at times or Matthew Golden, because Matthew Golden's, a really speedy guy. So I'm worried about that a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But it's not that I don't have faith in our defense. I think at the end of the day, they're going to make enough plays and get it done, especially because I have great faith in our front seven getting the pass rush on Donovan Smith to be able to not give him enough time to let those throws develop. But at the same time, you got to take into account we're going to be without, who's been our best pass rusher this entire season in Trey Lathan, who's been, one of the best pass rushers in the Big 12. He's up there in quarterback pressures in the entire conference before his injury was well on his way to a, an all conference and potentially freshman All-American type season. So I'm worried about that. I think Ben Cutter's going to fill in well, but there's just some things going on, whether it be injury wise or story wise. And then, when a team has their back against the wall, you never know what's going to happen. I think about West Virginia last year when they were, 2-3 heading into the bye week, and we didn't think we were going to compete in a lot of those games. And then we came out and played great against, TCU, who went on to play for a national championship. I'm sure they didn't think they were going to have a close game with West Virginia. So I think just in this conference, going on the road is tough enough. And then those extra factors there make me think that this is going to be a little bit closer than what people are expecting. I've got the faith in West Virginia, and I hope that I'm wrong and everyone else is, more correct and West Virginia does win it handily. But I just got a feeling this is going to be a close game at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, they said Jacoby Spells was going to come in. I think I like that because of his experience. I don't know. I think Beanie's probably going to be matched up with Sam Brown. Beanie's got the most. I think he's, if not the most, he's tied for the most passes defended in the Big 12 conference. If not I think it's country actually.
Yeah, he's up there, and I think he's top in the conference. Yeah, for sure. I believe he's top 15 in the country too, or something like that. I know I saw Jed Drenning put out a stat on it actually about his pass breakups. Actually, go ahead and continue on. I'll see if I can find the exact number.
I was just going to say, I don't know. I like our matchups, man. I know Sam Brown's good, but Beanie, I think's proved, to me at least, that, as much as I was like, well, he's good, but he hasn't faced really like a top-level receiver yet. But, he shut down everybody on Texas Tech and TCU.
That's true. That's
Did
true.
a good job of it. So I'm saying, I think he's got, going back to those dropped interceptions, I think he's got at least like 4 of them in the first 5 games.
Yeah, I was about to say, hopefully, because he has, 2 picks on the season. He could have, at least 5, I'd say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got potential to, to be up there.
Yeah, for sure.
If everybody could just hold on to the ball.
Here it is. I got the tweet.
Looking it in.
I found it. Let me see if I can share it.
In middle school.
Courtesy of Jed Drenning, of course, the signal caller himself. WVU's Beanie Bishop leads the Big 12 in passes defended, pass breakups. He has 9 passes defended and 6 pass breakups. No WVU defender the last 2 years had more than 4 pass breakups in an entire season. So he has 6 in the first 5 games. No other defender we've had in the past couple of years had even 4 in an entire season. So that goes to tell, his impact that he's making, right there. And then just finishing up, Beanie has allowed just 14 catches and 29 total yards after catch as a Mountaineer, despite being targeted 29 times. So he's been everything that they've wanted, and more, I think, at that position. He's certainly exceeded my expectations. And I've got to think right now he's one of the, bigger impact transfers, if not only in the Big 12, but maybe nationally as well.
And you got to think, Beanie's coming from Minnesota, and that's all the Big Ten knows is defense. So,
yeah,
kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, he's good, man. I hope it continues. There's definitely, I understand the reason for optimism, and a lot of times going into games as well, I know you do this too, and you've talked about it. Sometimes it's trying not to get my hopes up too high, also trying to tamper my own expectations too, so that if there is a letdown, I'm not that much broken by it,
Yes, I don't know, man. It's kind of a mind game. You go through not trying to get too hopeful, but also trying to not like psych yourself out too,
right?
Even as a fan, because we talk about it a bunch with this Houston game. on paper, it looks like, we should be the clear favorite. But if you go back and look at all of our other games in this season, we weren't the clear favorite in any of those games.
Yeah.
We still
So,
won. So
which, that's something else you got to look at. This is the first, one of the first times that, like you said, we've been the favorite. So how do we play when we're not, necessarily the underdog, which I still think there's plenty of factors we can use that, to motivate us. We always going to have that 14th until proven wrong mentality this season, I think. And that's good to see. But of course, I want to see us, do it as the favorite now and see how we perform in that aspect too. And then something we always talk about too, is there's always a game or two that we, play down to our competition too, unfortunately. I'm hoping this isn't that game, but we'll see. Crazy things happen on those, weeknight games. We've seen it before. So hopefully, I think West Virginia's going to be ready, though, coming off a bye week, getting, fully healthy. And, of course, the Dana factor as well. I think West Virginia's going to be ready to go.
I think they're going to be ready to go. I think, honestly, potential for that to happen is probably next week versus Oklahoma State, especially if Oklahoma State comes out and has a letdown week this week.
Yeah.
Like they've done in the past. West Virginia could potentially be looking past that game, and that's one thing I'm afraid of.
Yeah, you don't ever want to do that because you see what happens. See Kansas State did that. Everyone thought that Oklahoma State was dead in the water, and then here they come, and who knows what type of team they can be. The jury's still out on them. So we'll see. We'll see. They can definitely do some things. Beating that Kansas State team's no small feat.
I don't think even with the Week 10 in this season, you're going to know what type of team Oklahoma State is. They don't even know what type of team they are at this point. They just
there's a few type of team. There's a few teams in that conference that kind of have that feel to them. I mean, people may be saying that about West Virginia, even that aren't from the outside looking at us. So who knows?
Yeah,
it's a crazy.
I don't know, one game that has the potential to be a pretty good game if they keep playing well is that BYU game, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it is.
That one's looking good.
Well, it's going to be a complete contrast in styles, the way they're playing versus the way we're playing. It looks like old school, 80s BYU right now, slinging it around air raid style with Keaton Slovis and stuff versus the way we've been playing. So it'll be an interesting matchup for sure when we get there.
We got our motivation for that one already in the chamber, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, all you got to do is play that clip, have that clip running from Slovis in the locker room, which I think they've done before already. So may as well do it again.
Yep.
WV fan 23 said he was high on Noah Massey when we got him out of the portal, but have not seen him in the wide receiver rotation yet this season. Do either of us know what the situation is? Far as I know, I haven't heard anything about injury. Nothing. No disgruntlement, nothing like that I've heard of. I know he's played minimal snaps on the season, but the couple times West Virginia has released a depth chart, which I know has been few and far between, he has been listed second string at the slot position behind Jarrell Williams. Him and Jarrell Williams have both played, no more than 5 snaps in I think any game this season except for maybe Duquesne, but seems like he's just down on the pecking order, really. I don't know why. I know I seemed like he was someone that they were going to try and use with his big frame, 6'5", 240, playing the slot receiver. Seemed like it was going to be an interesting experiment to get him in there. Maybe it's just not ready yet. Maybe it's something that's going to come late in the season. But as far as I know, he's not hurt or anything like that. Seems like they've just, really honed in on some other guys that they're trying to focus on in that rotation right now. And I know they've talked about shortening it. Seems like they've got about 6 guys they're playing. Like I said, maybe down the line he'll get involved because I'd like to see, what he is. But I don't know. I'm not there at the practices, unfortunately, to know one way or the other. But I think he only has 1 season remaining, if I'm not mistaken, coming up from that Division II level. I believe this was his only season. So I definitely expected him to get on the field as well. And I was, kind of high on him coming into WVN 23. So who knows? Maybe we'll get to see him in the near future. But I don't know. Anything you got there to add on that one, Steven?
No, he was one I was kind of excited to see too. But, if it's one thing I've learned about Neil Brown, is if he's got his guys, it's his guys. And he's not really going to switch it up unless something drastic happens. So,
yeah,
it's been tough enough to get Rodney Gallagher on the field, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know it's starting to come more and more. I know. I'm just hoping that we start to target him more in the passing game, whether instead of just reverses and gadget type plays. Not that I don't think and like us using those with him occasionally, because I think he can turn those into explosive plays. But I would just like to see us target him more traditionally as well. When we're using the passing game, because he hasn't really been targeted downfield hardly any, save for the should have been touchdown in the previous game against TCU.
Yeah, I think we should use him a lot more over the middle instead of, those jet sweep plays so much as what we use him for. Him and another guy we don't really mention a lot of is Preston Fox. I think he has a lot of potential to, when he gets in the open field, open space, he's got potential to break one too. Because I mean, like we've talked about, he's been doing great on punt returns, and that's something that we don't really see often at West Virginia.
Yeah, and it's been making a huge difference, man. That hidden yardage, it's been big.
Absolutely. So I feel like if he gets in space, he's got potential to break one too.
For sure.
And he can catch the ball, man. We just got to get it to him.
Yeah, I mean, he had the one touchdown this year. I'd like to see him grab another one. That'd be nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I appreciate everyone that's tuned in here live with us here ahead of the Houston game. Continue, drop your score predictions for the game in the chat. Any other questions, comments you got there, we'll try and catch up on those here again momentarily as we get set to head down to Houston and take on the Fighting Dana Holgersens. I believe the Mountaineers arrived there this evening, so getting ready. Like we said, less than 24 hours away, going to be a good one. But, of course, one thing we always like to share in these pregame streams, Stephen, we got to talk about the uni selection this week.
You always read my mind, too. It's always right when I think about it. I'm like, hey, man, we should show the uni.
Of course. West Virginia going white on white because Houston's going with the blackout, but Houston's wearing the white helmet. So West Virginia going with the blue helmet, but with the twist. We're breaking back out the Country Roads home helmet that we wore against Pitt for this road game against Houston. I'll flip through some of the pictures here, but what are your thoughts on this look for this game against Houston, Stephen?
Clean, man. I know you're different than I am in terms of these jerseys because they don't have any kind of gold flair in them, which I do agree they do need some type of gold in there. But I'm still a fan of them. I like these a lot. I love it when we go with all white, and this is, kind of old school traditional look, but with a new twist, modern twist on there. So
yeah, I like
blue. You get the blue with with the old school logo.
I love that.
Not the old school, but it's also the new logo.
The old with the new inside of the old. But no, I like it because I think that's something Neil Brown mentioned as well was that like I've talked about with the white jerseys is they hate that there's no gold on them, something that I dislike as well. And he said that's why they decided to use the Country Roads helmet because it has a little bit more gold on it, with the gold double stripe to add a little bit more gold to that jersey. But West Virginia is going to be getting a new set of uniforms soon, and I fully expect there to be more gold incorporated on the white, whether it's a gold stripe on the pants or gold outline on the blue number, something like that. I think we'll definitely see more gold on the next version of the white uniforms. But ideally, I'd like to see West Virginia wear blue pants with that. Just I like because in the blue pants you at least get the gold WV on it or whatever. I like the white on white, and I get why they're doing it because Houston with the blackout you kind of have to. But all in all, I love it just because the Country Roads helmet, man, that's my favorite part of it.
See, I'm a fan of the solid colors, so I love the all whites.
Yeah.
And you want to know something? It took me until I think last week's uniform reveal to realize that that's been Rasheed Marshall.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I can't remember. It took me. I can't remember which game it was that I realized it or something because they had a picture and up close and you could see the face. I was like, that's definitely Rasheed Marshall under there. And I never, it's been number 2 the whole time. I never put it together really. I guess.
Yeah, I never really did realize it. I like that they bring Rasheed's working with the school and everything. He's
he's loving that. He's on staff, player relations, I think, player operations, something like that. It's something relating to the players. Yeah, pretty cool.
Doing, the media for the games and stuff, which I thought was really cool. So I don't know. I love that Rasheed's still around the program, still doing a lot with them. I'm pretty sure he's the one that modeled our Country Roads uniforms last year whenever they revealed them.
Yeah, and when we first broke out this uniform set, he did too.
Because he was wearing the gray set.
It was like him and Carl Joseph came back, I think, to help model him, if I remember right. But yeah, and I think that they've talked about him and Garrett Green being pretty close too, and that he's kind of mentoring Garrett Green, I guess, for lack of a better term there. That they talk a lot, so that's pretty cool too.
Well, they kind of have similar play styles when you really look at it. You know what I mean? He's not as big as Rasheed was. Rasheed a little bit taller and a little bit beefier, but in terms of play styles, they're almost, now that I think about it, kind of spitting images of each other. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, pretty similar.
I I have always thought that, the way that, not saying that he is that player, but the way that Garrett can see when the line splits up the middle, and you know what I mean,
and know when to take off.
to take that cut right up the middle. I don't know the way that he does that. It reminds me so much of Pat.
Bro, I literally,
It
while
does.
you were saying that, immediately, like, what was coming into my head was 2007 Louisville game, 31-31, drops back, sees it open up, hits that middle, and then hits the outside, game over, 38-31.
I swear, that's the first thing I think of when I think of Pat White was, he drops back to pass, you know what I mean, straight up the middle he goes, and that's a lot of Pat's great runs. What worked out that way
because it was awesome. Because the thing with Pat that was so great was they would have a quarterback spy there waiting on that, and it wouldn't matter because he would just outrun him. Just like, okay, I'm gonna come through the line. The quarterback spy's coming. I'm gonna hit the sideline, beat him to the corner. It's over.
Well, a lot of great quarterbacks, or great running quarterbacks, rather, like Michael Vick, he was great because he could scramble it out to the outside.
Yeah.
Pat wasn't ever. I mean, he could, and he did do that at times, but he was really better. Whenever, he'd have those guys crashing on the outside, and he could just take it up the middle because if he was just one-on-one in open space, I'm picking Pat White every time.
Oh,
all
day.
He's very elusive. So I mean, what was it? The ECU game, I believe it was, when he.
Oh, that double juke.
That double juke right there. That was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, because I remember that's when afterwards it was him, and he said it was him and Steve Slayton. He said, Steve taught me that. He told me, he said, do this, and then you go. Steve said, don't believe that.
Oh man, that's somebody that don't get talked about a lot. Of Steve. He had that great freshman year, and then injuries kind of hurt him more so than anything else.
I was going to say in the NFL, he had a great rookie season, but then where he had that hurt wrist, he had that fumbling problem, and then that's what kind of derailed him because he had like over 1,000 yards that first year with the Texans.
Yeah, man. Steve Slayton's rookie year. I mean, I was young, and so like it was more magical, I guess, from our perception at that time. But man, oh man, watching that Sugar Bowl with Steve Slayton, that was still to this day one of the funnest games I've ever watched as a Mountaineer fan.
Still rewatch it at least, once a year, a couple times a year, something like that,
It was like the poor man's version of the Orange Bowl at the time, because I mean, like, we just took
that's all we had. Yeah, man. That's what I mean. Luckily that game wasn't, a couple minutes longer because Georgia was coming back, but we got that fake punt and got out of there with the win.
yeah, that one kind of a heart attack.
Yeah, it was. It was a roller coaster of emotions.
I thought I was going to be the first ever. What was I? How old was I in 2006?
Was it 12, 13, 14? 14, like I think.
13, I think.
Yeah.
First ever 13-year-old to go into cardiac arrest.
Hey, it'll give you that feeling. For sure. That's Mountaineer for you. Ernie B, appreciate you, man, tuning in and chiming in. He says, hopefully the injuries on the O-line won't hinder our running game. Garrett Green may be our leading rusher again, but CJ needs to be dominant. Let's win one for Wolf. Hey, couldn't have said it better.
Yeah,
That's
I like
actually
that one.
Exactly the way I put it on our preview show as well. I didn't want to sound cliche, but I think they should go out there, win one for Wolf, and definitely can't say enough, things about that, and, pay our respects to Wolfley, and, prayers out to his family still yet after that, shocking loss that's really hit the Mountaineer community hard, hit us hard here. We were lucky and privileged enough to be able to, meet him, have him on the podcast before even. And he was always, great to us in all of our interactions, as he always was to, everyone. You've heard countless stories coming out. And, I think, that's another thing West Virginia just has, to put in their corner is, going out and winning one for Wolf as well. So hopefully they're able to go out and do that, Ernie B, and appreciate you sharing that sentiment. And I certainly agree with the issues on the O-line. We're keeping an eye on that and seeing if Wyatt Milam's able to go and how much of a factor that is in the game.
Yeah, man. Just speaking of Wolf, he was a big time figure in the Mountaineer, community. And I don't know, that's one thing I'll always appreciate is him, whenever he stepped down from actually working with the Mountaineer Sports Network to doing his own independent thing. He took the time to actually go around and do a lot of these different independent shows that a lot of us and us and Coos and Golden Blue Dude and a lot of us who also unfortunately passed on. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really, really cool thing that he really came down, what I think it was like an hour show that he gave us.
Yeah. It was about 45-minute hour show. Yeah, because
We've had some cool people on here, man. Like I thought that was one of the coolest interviews that we've had on here.
that was definitely one of my favorites, and it was
Learned a lot
pretty
about the NIL
surreal,
collective and everything.
Yeah, as I say, it was surreal because watching him on TV, and then listen to him on the pregame shows and postgame shows, coaches shows and stuff, and then getting to talk to him yourself personally. It's like almost like an outer body experience, type deal. But it was pretty cool, man. And he was always really down to earth and just made it. It only felt like that for the first few minutes because Wolf was just so personable. He made you feel like you'd known him forever and you were best friends. Even first time you met him, he's just that type of guy and just really special, person. And as far as his skills when it goes to football, he knew more about football than or forgot more about football than I'll ever know. And his film reviews were something that I really enjoyed. And I also not to say that I don't still enjoy the game day pre-game and post-game shows, but man, I always really thought it was a lot more fun when Wolf was on there for the pre-game shows and stuff. He would really get you fired up and everything, and I just loved hearing him, man. I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah, man. He was super fun to listen to, man. He scared the crap out of me every time he would do the boom. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool his family released a statement on the Wolfman's Calls Facebook page.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about how much he cared about every single person, and that he ever really played with. He called it a brotherhood. And you know what I mean? He was one of those players that really solidified and can represented what we love about our team. You know what I mean? Like he really loved being a West Virginia Mountaineer.
Yeah.
And
no one was more passionate, man.
I don't know, man.
No one was more passionate. For sure, man. It's tough to talk about. It really is. But appreciate you sharing those thoughts, Ernie B, and certainly hope they're able to win one for the Wolf as well. I'm gonna look it up actually real quick. The GoFundMe. They did do a GoFundMe for Wolf. I'm gonna see if I can find that link really quickly. I believe I've got it pulled up on our social media. We've shared it on our social medias. It's on our Twitter at WVU Country Roads, on our Facebook, and Instagram Country Roads Webcast. But I think I've got the link here. I'm going to share it in the chat. If you can and you're able to, donate there, help his family out. He had multiple sons and daughter, wife. So definitely shared the link to the GoFundMe in the chat for the Wolfley family as well while we were on the topic. But definitely thoughts and prayers to them, and best wishes to the Wolfley family and Mountaineer Nation as well, as we all mourn this loss and deal with such a shocking passing that affects us all for sure. I appreciate that again, Ernie B. W Football Going Deep says if Green gets off to a faster start with completions, Brown will call more passes. We can get the receivers into a rhythm. Yeah, I think that's critical as well. I know it's been an issue this season is, not getting off to fast starts in games. And that's something that's got to get better. They've got to get, off to quicker starts and get into that rhythm faster. And hopefully they will be able to do that, because I think, that has been part of the issue is when they have got into that rhythm, it has worked out well. It's been few and far between that we've seen it. I think of, the drive to answer a Texas Tech score when Nico was playing. They really got into a rhythm, and Neil Brown called several good passing plays. And then last game, the drive that was really clutch against TCU, which several of our freshman receivers were making plays. They got into a rhythm there as well. So I agree, W Football Going Deep. It can happen, and we've seen it happen, and hopefully it happens more frequently moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. One that comes to mind in that game is the E.J. Horton catch.
Yeah.
And it proves to me that they can hold on to the ball. So you just got to get it.
Yeah, that was
beverage break.
That was had to wet my whistle for sure. That dry throat, and I pretty much finished my coffee. I had to switch to the water bottle.
I didn't mean to just make it so awkward. I was getting ready to take a drink of mine, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna take a drink."
No, I tried to time it up. I thought you were gonna talk longer, and I was like, he's done. Like,
well, it's cool. I was going to, and then I was going. I don't know. That was sorry. About
but back about that Horton catch. That's what I loved about it, was the fact that it was such a tough catch, because he's been known as the speed guy, but it shows that he's got a little bit more to his game as well. He's got that physical aspect too. So I'm hoping to see more of him as well.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we got weapons at the wide receiver position. It's just that potential hasn't blossomed yet.
Yeah. As John Kelly states here, if we made that deep ball, he says if we made that big deep ball pass against Texas Tech, wouldn't have been as close. So I think we're getting closer. And yeah, that's what, it's just off by a few inches. It's not like the plays aren't there to be made. They have been. We just haven't executed. It's all about execution. And I think, our offense is only going to get better. So yeah, we're getting close.
I was going to say, none of these, I feel like we've been getting better at certain aspects from week to week. And I don't know. It's one of those ones that I feel like has the, if it were the fact that like we just could not get them the ball, or Garrett couldn't, accurately get it there, or, issues that we've seen before, like whenever Jared Deggy was here and how horrid that was, these Garrett can throw dots, man. Like from what I've seen, he's been pretty accurate. It's just we've had more drop passes than, I don't know, in a long time. It's been a long time since I've seen that many drop passes.
I think that, people are sleeping on Garrett's arm a little bit, especially he's been really great on the deep ball. My only, gripe has been, I think, he could afford to put a little bit more touch on some of the short to intermediate stuff. He's got that, one speed, kind of fastball, but hopefully that'll come with time. And I think also we got to keep in mind that while the quarterbacks, haven't been, fully healthy since the beginning of the season, the receivers also have been dealing with, okay, we're playing with Garrett. Oh, we're playing with Nico. Oh, we're playing with Garrett. So now hopefully that, they've had this bye week. They've had time to, prepare with Garrett for a full, over a week now, for the first time, since early in the season, getting that full week of prep time with one quarterback, knowing the exact game plan, what it is, the game plan's not changing. I think all of those things are going to make the offense look better tomorrow night. And also you can add into the fact that Houston's defense hasn't been good thus far this year. So
yeah, well, I don't know. Not that I agree with you that I feel like that it's going to help our offense tomorrow night. But in one way, I don't know. I don't really believe or buy into the narrative that guys, oh, well, we've got to switch up quarterbacks and we play, you know what I mean? Nico and Garrett, I feel like, are both talented enough to where they don't really have to skip a beat in the wide receiver room.
True.
You know what
I'm just more thinking about
they play
like
with them through the offseason.
the passing style, like left-handed versus
True,
right-handed, different spin.
that
And then, of
part's
course,
true,
I think
yeah.
Garrett throws the ball a little, like I said, really hard. And I think Nico probably has more touch. So maybe just having to adjust to how they're catching the ball. Maybe. I don't know.
I just mean like a lot of people always talk about like if they got to switch a quarterback, it's like the first time these guys have ever seen this quarterback. You know what I mean? When they play with him through a whole off season, and they practice with him all the time. So I don't know, like when you got two talented quarterbacks like West Virginia does, like of course the right and left-handed, that does have an effect because of the spin on the ball. Other than that, like I don't know, I feel like they don't really have to sacrifice too much.
Yeah, well, the good thing is that it's not like you have a pocket passer and a runner. At least they're not changing the playbook or anything too much. When one comes in versus the other, I don't think so. Yeah, I get where you're coming from there, 100%. And I don't think that there's much drop off from 1 to 2 either.
No, and I said that going into this season. I think that was one of our better rooms on the whole team was the quarterback room, just because you got 1 and 2 is so great.
Yeah,
because I think Nico has the potential to be. I don't know, man. I don't want to speak too soon because there's a lot of things that could happen. But if Nico keeps on this track, and if we can keep building around, the pieces that we have, I don't see why there's any reason to believe that Nico couldn't be one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in school history. And I mean, he could surpass Pat. I'm not saying that he's going to be as good of a runner, but I'm telling you, like his game, his decision making already at his age, you don't see that, man. Like you don't see that. And even you could see it in high school when he played for Hamilton out in Arizona. He was going to be great. And I don't know. I'm really excited to see what the future is. Not that I'm ready to give the team to Nico because I love Garrett Green and I love the way he plays, but I also love that Nico's gotten to sit behind GG and learn learn how to be not just a better quarterback, but a better, runner, because I feel like that's one thing that he gains a little bit from Garrett is a little bit of a running style. because I feel like he was even a good passer whenever he was in high school. Like I said, out there, because I watched a few of those. They live streamed all of those games out in Hamilton, so I watched a lot of those games his senior year. Whenever he, made that
Crazy
or
comeback.
well, yeah, that one. But he that wasn't the only game he played like that in that year. That's just the one that got talked about. He had at least two more that he led the team in the fourth quarter from I think like 2 touchdowns or more.
Well, he's shown that he can get it
So,
done in clutch time. I mean, even now, here in college, being as young as he is, and that's what I love about him. It's just that intangible, it factor, winning mentality type deal that he certainly seems to have. And so, I'm loving his potential, and I think we're yet to scratch the surface of Garrett's. I'm hoping we get to see that a little bit this week. And I think Neil Brown mentioned that in his press conference this week, that he thinks that they're really close, for the nation and for Mountaineer fans to be able to really see the type of quarterback that Garrett Green can be and how this offense can be with him leading it too. So I think it's a great problem to have, I guess you could say, that West Virginia has with, two quarterbacks that are more than capable of bringing you wins as they have, thus far throughout this season. And what's even more cool about it is the fact that they're both guys that you recruited out of high school. And, they're the first quarterbacks West Virginia has starting out of high school since, Chris Chugunov and Paul Millard, and then Geno Smith before that. So you're talking two over the past decade before, these two this year. So that's pretty cool as well. And something
you don't see that.
Yeah, and it's something that a
nowadays.
lot of people knocked on the previous staff. Of course, we're about to face Dana tomorrow, but a lot of people knocked on him. He can't get a quarterback out of high school. He can't develop them. And Neil Brown's certainly shown that he can, because Garrett Green was one of the first recruits that he brought in. Nico was one of his more high-profile recruits, and I think he's doing a good job with both those guys.
Yeah, I think he's done a phenomenal job. And then, he got a lot of knock on, last year whenever he wouldn't put Garrett in for the majority part of the year. But I really think, I don't know, it obviously, I was always afraid that, you don't play Garrett enough, man, he's probably going to jump ship. And to both Neil Brown and Garrett Green's credit, he stayed and he, trusted that process and trusted Neil. And so it's only made him a better player, I guess, from what I can tell at least.
Yeah.
And he's, 2 years ago, Garrett Green came in and led us to what was almost a pretty good victory out in Norman, Oklahoma. And then last year he leads you over Oklahoma, right? And then, this year he finally gets a chance to really show you what kind of growth he's had over the past few years. So I fully expect that if it doesn't happen this week, it's going to happen at some point this year. Garrett's really going to come into his own. But like I said, I really don't think it's so much on GG as it is the receiving core. It goes back to just us catching the football. If we can catch the football, I think a lot of things open up for a lot of things on this offense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, play action should become a weapon for us. It really should moving forward, because they're loading, defenses are stacking the box, and we just got to make them pay for that. And hopefully we're able to do that. Catch up here on some comments. Appreciate you guys being in here tonight. Great interaction with you guys. Appreciate you watching this, whether you're watching live or you're watching on a playback. Either way you're tuned in there, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. That really helps this video's performance, helps future videos performances on the channel as well. If you're a West Virginia fan, Big 12 fan, college football fan, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Helps us, helps you, helps get more of this Mountaineer sports content out to Mountaineer Nation. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in with comments and questions here as well. Try and catch up on some of those before we close out before too much longer, and encourage you guys, drop your score predictions down in the chat below for tomorrow's night's game against Dana Holgorsen and the Houston Cougars. West Virginia hitting the road for a Thursday night Big 12 contest. And Silas says he's ready for some Thursday night football. H-Town beatdown all the way from Motown.
Hey, I like that, man. Put that on a t-shirt.
Hey, there you go, Silas. Hey, man.
I'm excited for some Thursday night football. I haven't really had one of those. I think it's the only one this year, right?
First one of the year, yeah. It's been a while. Yeah.
Is there another one this year, other Thursday?
I don't think so. I think this is the only one that I know of right off. I don't think so, unless there's another one they haven't announced yet. I'm pretty sure this is the only one, if I'm not mistaken. Had a couple, 2 or 3, didn't they? Yeah, I knew they had at least a couple. So, yeah, interesting. I think you're going to start to see more of it, though. Of course, with the conference expanding, they're going to need to put in some more Thursday, Friday games and stuff probably, but we'll see.
I mean, it's like old school Big East days, man. You're going to add some of these old Big East teams. It's going to be like, having
yeah.
more of these Thursday games.
Hey, those
Yes.
were always fun too. You get some top 5 matchups in those.
Yeah, wasn't
Yeah.
the Rutgers 3 overtime game on a Thursday? I know
Yeah,
the
Thursday or
Louisville game was a
Friday.
Saturday.
It was a
I know that
Friday or a Thursday. I think it might have been a Friday. It was one of the two, though. Yeah,
was one of those. Yeah,
I remember that.
cold.
Yep.
I remember
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah, Jarrett Brown. Jesse Branham says this should be the start of the Red Bull rivalry.
Red Bull. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, Dana and his Red Bull, man. He's still on those things.
You know, when he was at West Virginia, I actually worked for I worked for a company that subcontracted Red Bull, and so I had a route in Beckley to where I stocked those shelves. But anyway, the company that I worked for also serviced Morgantown, West Virginia, and they literally kept a cooler of Red Bull on the sidelines at West Virginia games. That's how much you drank them. I don't know how his heart didn't explode.
But I have no idea. I have no idea how he drinks them the way he does, just continuously. I mean, he would talk about like 8 to 10 a day or something like that, and I'm like, I guess, man, if your body's used to it or so, I have no idea because I can't even. If I drink one, I'm like, am I having a heart attack?
Oh, man. Well, just today I drank a Red Bull, and then I made the mistake because I didn't put two and two together. The caffeine kind of stacks up. I drank a coffee
Oh yeah,
because it was a little bit chilly outside. Oh my man, I was kind of scared.
Yeah, I stick to the
I
coffee.
didn't know what was going to happen.
I can't do that. I'm just a coffee guy strictly. The energy drinks, unless I'm like crazy tired, got to stay up late hours or something, might do it occasionally, but usually it's just the coffee for me. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, guess all those all that yelling at the referee and slamming your headset on the ground.
Yeah,
He's a lot of energy.
We'll see. Hopefully we're frustrating him pretty good tomorrow night. We see him over there, pulling on his hair, slamming some headsets, all the typical stuff. I'll get a good laugh out of it now that it's coming from the opposing sideline.
I hope it's this is one of those games where you hope it's more of a beatdown than one of those nail biter games.
Hopefully,
because I'd love to. If it's any game to where it's going to be pretty not gritty, I hope it's this game.
Hey, gotta have at least one of those, at least hopefully, right? So hopefully we're able to, win one going away and not make us sweat it out so much. I'd like to be able to relax a little bit, in the fourth quarter instead of being on the edge of the seat, which that's a lie. I stand up through the whole game anyway, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Yeah, there's a couch back here, but I don't know why I have it. I stand up the whole time.
I'm pacing back and forth. Yeah, it's a lost cause trying to sit down. Usually commercials, take a seat, rest my legs a little bit, then we're back on. I'm back up.
Oh no, commercials are bathroom breaks.
Or that too, yeah. Bathroom breaks, go grab another bottle of water, something like that.
Yep.
Chris Burdett coming away with predicting the hand WVU win as well. Seems to be a theme here in the chat tonight, and I like that. Hopefully it comes to fruition. He's going 35-14 Mountaineers.
It's kind of along the lines of where we've all been at.
John Kelly sharing a great sentiment, said wants to see us win out this season for Golden Blue Dude and Wolfman. Amen. That they're going to be watching down from heaven, and they wouldn't want to see anything else but that. And they're happy as can be right now with the 4-1 start, and hopefully it continues. It'd be an awesome tribute to him for sure.
Oh yeah, man. And also shout out, I don't know if I mentioned it on that show, shout out to Golden Blue Dude's brothers. I met them at the pit game.
Oh yeah.
Noticed their shirts. They sat right behind me, and told them I liked their shirts, and they told me who they were, and we got to talking for a few minutes. And they were some pretty cool guys. So just miss both him and Wolfman, man. Both of them gone way too soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Mountaineer Nation, it's gonna miss him. Gonna miss him for sure. Blake Green, have to assume the passing game will look better with multiple weeks of Garrett Green prepping as a starter. Will get better with the repetition and consistency with Gigi. Yeah, I think so too. I think as long as, knock on wood over here somewhere, he can stay healthy moving forward, because that's the only thing you worry about with his size, and people, worried about that going into the season. unfortunately dealt with an injury already, but hopefully moving forward, that's not the case. I mean, we've got faith in Nico if something does happen, as we've talked about here, but I think, getting that consistency with Garrett Green would be awesome for this offense to continue to get to practice with him, week in and week out. The offense would really, just continue to get better week after week. And if this West Virginia offense can keep improving, and even if the defense, stays just playing the level they're at right now, it's going to mean, a very, very special season.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can even sustain this level of defense, that's what I'm saying. You don't, necessarily have to get better on defense. If you can just sustain this, you're going to give your offense some opportunities to win some games, if not most games going down the stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that a lot of people talk about it, but I mean, really, it truly is realistic that West Virginia wins all but at least one game on the rest of their schedule. They have potential to lose 2 more. But with the way that they've been playing on defense, I have no reason to believe that they don't at least win, most of them.
Yeah. Got a great chance. It's lining up nice. You just got to go out and execute, continue to do what you did, through the first nearly half of this season. And hopefully, let the chips fall where they may from here on out. But Talk is Pitt. Appreciate you, man, tuning in and chiming in. Always good to see you in here. One of our favorite, Pitt fans. There's not very many that we do like, but we always appreciate.
Not many of you that we like, man.
So you're in a good club, man. You're in a good club. But he says, "R.I.P. Wolfman." He gave me a platform, and I love the guy for it. Miss the guy in gold and blue, dude. As do we. Talk is Pitt, and I really appreciate you sharing that here as well. I know I saw you, pop up there on the Wolfman's call several times there and be active in there. So I know you had a good relationship with him as well. And appreciate you, paying your respects and sharing those thoughts. And, I will say interesting stuff going on over there at Pitt. I seen, Jerkovich moving to tight end and Christian Velo taking over as quarterback. So that's pretty crazy stuff for Pitt. Did you see that, Steven?
I did not see that, but you know what, man? Christian Velo, up until we played them this year, I didn't realize he had transferred to Pitt. He's a guy that West Virginia recruited at one point.
Yeah, we were trying hard to get him, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Jerkovich, gets benched and then position change to tight end. So, I mean, he's got the body for it. I don't know.
That's wild. Yeah, that's a little bit wild.
It worked out for Travis Kelce. He started as a quarterback at Cincinnati. So
worked out for Logan Thomas. He was a quarterback of Virginia Tech, switched to tight end in the league. So
true. You never know. You never know. But we appreciate you, Talks Pitt. Really do. Thank you, man. It means a lot and really does. But Dylan Lester tuning in and chiming in with the score prediction here: 34-13, West Virginia. Going down there to Houston. Planet Houston. Oh, that reminds me. I added this just for that occasion.
So this is Planet Houston.
Shout out Superman
like
2. Little General Zod there. Little General Zod action.
Houston, we have a problem.
That's what West Virginia's going to say. So this is Planet Houston. Well, we will go to Houston and we will rule.
Hey, speaking of, a little off topic, but kind of not really, because, Houston, we have a problem made me think of, astronauts, I guess. I don't know. Space and NASA. Anyway, did you see UCS new Space U uniforms?
Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't see them.
Oh, man.
Let me see if I can look them up. Real quick.
I like their other Space U uniforms with the blacked out with the stars on them, but the ones that they just came out with, they're actually pretty sweet.
Is it black with blue numbers?
It is. No, it is blue.
Oh, no, I don't see them. I see the black with blue numbers, but those are pretty fresh though. So I can only imagine the blue. I don't know why.
Let me see.
Yeah, because that's 2022 that I'm seeing here.
Okay, yeah. I don't know, my phone is gonna suck at getting, or my camera's gonna suck at getting at the show, but that's what they look like.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I see it focused in on it. Yeah, those are nice. I love that color blue.
Pretty sweet, man. Pretty sweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those are sweet. I like the black ones that you were talking about too. I just saw those, but yeah, those are nice too. A lot of good uniforms floating around. A lot of good uniforms. I'm excited to see what West Virginia breaks out with the new set. Sounds like they're going to be getting a new set from Nike next season, so we'll see what that looks like. I'm interested to see.
Hoping it's a little nod to the old school.
Dylan Lester said he'd like to see white helmet, gray jersey, and navy pants. Think it'd be a nice combo. Don't think we've seen it yet. Ooh, definitely don't think we've seen that. That would be interesting. I'm trying to picture him. I think I'd like it.
I think I'd like that too.
Yeah.
1 second. I'm gonna hop out for a second.
All right, yeah, go ahead, man. Talkers Pit says Jerkovich will not be a tight end, or that's what Narduzzi said. Oh, so I guess it was a rumor going around anyways. Huh, interesting. Appreciate you clearing that up. But still, I'm sure that you guys are happy to see, a change be made at that position now. And I think Velo has some good potential. I know West Virginia was hot on him on the recruiting trail, and he was highly sought after when he went to Penn State before, ended up transferring there to Pitt. So hopefully works out for you guys. Certainly, could use a spark on that offensive side. So hopefully provides it. And then Talkers Pitt chiming in with his prediction. He's going WVU 38, Houston 17. Oh, I like that. Another handedly win.
That.
Steven, look at that. Look at the score prediction. Houston 17.
Hey, you know what, man? See, at 17, number to believe in right there, buddy.
That's wild. Talkers Pit, it's crazy because on our prediction podcast, Steven had Houston scoring 17. Our other co-host Brad had Houston scoring 17. And then of course Steven said he'd seen someone else. And then we had a couple people, or at least one in the chat, I believe it was Timothy Green, had Houston scoring 17 as well. So it sounds like that's the magic number. If Houston scores 17, that's going to be wild.
I got to go put money on Houston scoring 17.
Yeah, throw it on there. WVU 38-17. I like that, Talkers Pit. Hey, speaking of putting money on something, I know that if a lot of people like myself were holding the ticket for the DraftKings win total on West Virginia, they had West Virginia's over-under on wins at 4.5. So go ahead and get that win tomorrow night, Mountaineers, and DraftKings can go ahead and run me my money.
Yeah. Do you remember how much money that is by chance?
I put a couple different cards in on it. I think I know I did one for I did a couple, one for 20, and then I did another one. I think I parlayed it with over conference wins, which they had at 3.5. So if they'd win 2 more conference games, they'd hit that as well. But I can't remember what the odds were on it though. It was I want to say it was plus money though. If not, it was like minus 100. But yeah. But I that was a steal of the offseason for me when I seen that over 4.5 win totals. I was like, because I thought for sure West Virginia was at the very least, 6-6. So I'm like, sign me up, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. I wish I would have taken that bet. I didn't really get fully into the specials betting until just recently. I never really knew where they were located. I finally was like, oh, I found them.
This is the second year that I've really got in on it. Last year, I think our win total was 5. And so I took us on the over. Of course, we won 5. So just ended up getting my money back that I betted. But this year I seen they had our win total lower, and I'm like, we're going to be better. So I'm like, 100% sign me up. Put in a couple different tickets for it.
Whenever you do that, explain, like, if they say they win 9-10 games, do you get even more money?
Nah, it's just once they win, like if whatever their line is, like for West Virginia, it's 4.5. So if you took the over, as soon as they win 5 games, you get your money.
Hurt. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if they win, I'll get DraftKings paying me tomorrow night.
Hey.
So I'm like, heck yeah. And then, like I said, I got the over on the 3.5 conference wins as well. So win tomorrow night and then beat Oklahoma State, and I can go ahead and cash that ticket as well. It'd be nice. So, hey, anybody else that's got the over on the 4.5 season win total from DraftKings, hopefully we'll be able to cash that out tomorrow night if a lot of the predictions that have came through in the stream come true. But Talkers Pit says, I want to thank you all for showing me respect. My own fan base doesn't even treat me well. So big shout out to you guys. Hey, always welcome here, Talkers Pit. We appreciate you being here, and you do the same for us, man. Think that you're the most respectful Pitt fan I've probably ever met. So definitely appreciate you as well.
I was going to say is, most of the time, especially with this rivalry, a lot of people don't really come in to this respectfully. And, we really appreciate you always approaching us with respect as well. So
yeah, definitely.
And a lot of people, especially on these types of things, I mean, we kind of luck out because people on our shows really are most of the time, if not all the time, very cool. But you see on Facebook all the time, people just keyboard warriors, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a thing. Sometimes you just gotta look the other way. But yeah, as I say, for the most part, everyone that we have, especially in the live streams, everyone that we have in the chat is always really cool. You know, every now and then you get the stray commenter and stuff on pre-recorded video or something. But yeah, everyone here is always great. And whether they be West Virginia fans, fans of the opponent, fans of Pitt, fans of any team, and we appreciate everyone that comes in here. That's we like to talk college football. Not just Mountaineers. Sometimes we talk Big 12. We talk national stuff as well. And even on our live streams, you never know, we might get into some NFL stuff even, or some other sports. You never know what might come up. We get off on some tangents. So always anyone's welcome here. It's a place for college sports fans, not just Mountaineer fans.
Speaking of, did you catch Will Greer's on the injury reserve? What happened there?
Oh, is he? I did not know that.
Well,
That's
I just
interesting.
noticed the list of them the other day. I hadn't heard anything in official press release, but I seen the injury reserve list that they released had him on it.
Well, I was interested because I know that Mac Jones had been struggling, so I was like, oh, maybe Will Greer's going to get a chance to play, but I hate to hear that now because I thought that maybe he would get a shot at some point, but guess not. Darn.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's
tough
the
break.
case.
Tough break,
Yeah.
But hopefully they keep him on the roster and he's able to have some success in the future.
I'm hoping so, man. You know what? Speaking of injuries, one guy that I really kind of hate how that panned out for was Kevin White, man. I've never seen a worse break for anyone in terms of injuries in my life. I mean, he
that's
played
the Derrick Rose of football, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. He played 7-8 years of football in the NFL and literally got hurt in every single one of those seasons.
I have to say, never played a full year, I don't think.
I mean, man, Kaiser balling right now though, out in Arizona.
Yeah, got some Mountaineers.
And he bought out.
Got some Mountaineers.
San Diego too.
Oh, speaking of, that's we'll get out here for too much longer, guys. Won't keep you too much later, I swear. But speaking of, I wanted to share this because it's pretty cool, guys. So I'm sure most of you probably already seen it, but how about Dante? I think he had 6 tackles.
Oh yes,
2 TFLs and a sack. And I wanted to share this video of his first career sack coming on Joe Burrow, actually. So courtesy of our friends over at WVSportsNow.com, shared this from the Arizona Cardinals tweet. Let's see if I can make this thing full screen here.
Yeah, you gotta love that for Dante, man. At one point, they was talking about cutting him in the preseason. Oh man.
Yeah. So here it is, first career sack for our Mountaineer Dante Stills.
Here comes pressure up the middle. Burrow in trouble. Burrow tossed to the turf.
Boom, baby.
Dante Stills with the sack and a 3-and-out
304 boy
for the Cardinals defense.
So yeah, that definitely was talking about Mountaineers and the pros, and that popped in my head. I had to show it. I had it keyed up just in case we got around to it, and luckily we did. So certainly some good stuff going on for Mountaineers and the pros. Dante Stills having a great game now. Starting for the Cardinals. Colton McKivitz starting for the 49ers on the offensive line. Geno's playing pretty good.
By the way.
Just had a happy birthday. I think it was yesterday. Happy birthday, Geno. So. Yeah, 49ers, I think I'm with you there. They got a good chance to win it all.
Yeah, there's other good teams in the league. I think Miami's really good. I think the Bills are really good. I think obviously Kansas City's really good. But I'm telling you, on both sides of the football, there is no better team than the San Francisco 49ers right now. They've been
the most impressive, definitely all around for sure. I agree with you on that one. But all right, guys, we're gonna get ready to wrap this one up. Coming to you a little bit earlier in the week, this week, with it being a Thursday night game. But tomorrow night, it's going down in Houston. West Virginia traveling there, taking on their former coach. Houston at 2-3, West Virginia at 4-1. It's going to be a 7:00 p.m. kick, televised on Fox Sports 1. If you guys want to tune into that one, interesting matchup. A lot of storylines. Houston with their back against the wall. It's the former coach storyline. They got a lot of former Mountaineers on their team, on their coaching staff, Doug Belk, TJ Simmons, Da'Keel Shorts. We've talked about it a lot now, Stephen, be it our prediction show and then here on the live stream. But anything else you want to add in regards to this matchup, as we get ready to watch the Mountaineers, take on their former coach tomorrow night?
Yeah, well, not a whole lot that I want to add, but I will say this. I was going into this past episode, I opened up with it, but I really fully expected to come into this week of, really wanting to punch Dana in the mouth and give him, what he truly deserves and make him eat his words. And I still want to do that. But one thing I will say is, as hard as we are on Dana as a fan base, and especially on this show sometimes, I do appreciate what Dana did here, and I do, have some pretty good memories, like the Orange Bowl, the first time beating Kansas State whenever Sheldon made that catch and his helmet came off.
Yeah.
Obviously the Texas game with Will Greer. There's a bunch of fun memories that we had during that decade when he was our coach, man, here. And so obviously we want to go out and we want to get a W down there in Houston, but at the same time, he's probably not going to be around to make it. I say that respectfully, I guess, but I don't think he's going to make it next year to come to Morgantown whenever Houston comes up here to play. So I really want to get our chance to beat him in now. And another thing I will say is, speaking of Wolfman, I really do respect the hell out of Dana Holgorsen for making that the forefront of his press conference down there at Houston and really showing respect to him and his family. Because
cool.
Dale was on his staff whenever Dana was here, so wanted to shout that out and say that I respected that a lot.
Yeah, that was really cool. When I thought the same. I watched Dana's press conference, expecting maybe some jabs to be thrown, but he was really respectful and complimentary, and I thought that was pretty awesome. And seems like he doesn't hold any will toward West Virginia, despite some of the comments he made after the fact. But and I thought, as you said, making the comments he did about, Dale Wolfley, I respected that a lot as well. And of course, Neil Brown, commented on Wolf as well as so many others have. And that just goes to show you the lasting legacy that the Wolfman will forever leave and has left on Mountaineer Nation. And continue, thoughts and prayers for his family as we get ready to close this one out. And hopefully West Virginia is able to, as Ernie B said earlier, win one for the Wolf tomorrow night. That'd be awesome to see. But in regards to this game with Houston, man, I'm just super excited about it. I can't wait to see how it goes down. I think it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be exciting. One of the only a couple college football games going on tomorrow night. So hopefully a lot of people are tuned in to Fox Sports 1 at 7 p.m. watching the Mountaineers hopefully defeat Houston and then maybe end up, getting ranked in the top 25 for the first time in the Neil Brown era. Either way, we're looking for our 5th straight win and our 3rd straight conference win, which would be awesome to see. Start the season at 5-1, halfway through. That would be excellent start to the season for the Mountaineers. Super excited about it. And you can come talk with us after the game as soon as it concludes, win or loss. We'll be here to talk about it on the West Virginia Voice of College Football channel and on the Big 12 Voice of College Football channel. So be sure to subscribe to those. That's where you'll find our post-game show. We'll post a link to it here on our YouTube as well before it starts. But with the 7 o'clock start time tomorrow night, we're probably looking at around 10:30 for our post-game show. So come back here, chat with us again following the game, share some of your sentiments that you have as you review the game and react to what happens tomorrow night. And hopefully it's a West Virginia win. So anything else, Stephen?
No. First time we're ever playing Houston.
Yep,
so
that's
get
right.
it 1-0, man.
Yeah, that's right. First ever meeting between these two programs. Hopefully West Virginia is able to score the first win. Great point there. And good one to end it on. And hoping for a West Virginia win tomorrow night. Hopefully everyone's predictions that's predicted, all these handed victories in the chat comes through. I think that everyone's feeling pretty good about it, and it's great to see the West Virginia fan base excited again and, feeling positive again. And hopefully that's able to continue starting tomorrow night down in Houston, West Virginia going on the road Thursday night, and hopefully we're able to come out on the winning side of things. Looking forward to talking about it with you guys after the game tomorrow, as we did tonight. Always enjoy these live streams with you guys. A lot of fun. Having said that, for my co-host Steven, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz. And until next time, let's go Mountaineers.